In a forgotten town hidden away from the world, lived an old clockmaker named Gregor. His reputation once shone brightly due to his intricate and delicate timepieces. But after the sudden death of his only daughter, Elise, his world fell into disarray. Elise had succumbed to a rare, incurable disease, leaving Gregor heartbroken. Abandoning his work, he locked himself away in his dusty shop, where the once comforting ticking of clocks was replaced by an oppressive silence. Gregor's grief consumed him entirely. The shop, once a sanctuary of meticulous craftsmanship, had become a mausoleum of sorrow. Dust collected on every surface, and the clocks, their hands frozen, seemed to mourn with him. One evening, as a cold wind howled outside, Gregor stumbled upon an old journal hidden in a drawer. The journal, belonging to Elise, was filled with sketches and notes about her dreams and wishes. One page in particular caught his eye, a drawing of a puppet child with a note that read, "If only I could have a friend like this." Desperate to reconnect with his daughter, Gregor began to work on a puppet using Elise's belongings. He used a lock of her golden hair, the dress she wore often, and a locket she never removed. The shop filled with a mix of hope and dread as he meticulously crafted the puppet, whom he named Elianna. Gregor sought out a reclusive woman known as the Old Crone, living in a small, crooked cottage at the edge of town. The journey to her home was treacherous. The path was overgrown, and the cottage seemed to exist on the edge of reality. The old crone, with her weathered face and piercing eyes, examined the items Gregor brought. She warned him, "To bring her back, you must understand the cost. What returns will be bound by magic and this place. She will have a soul but not be whole. She must not be exposed to the full moon for more than 1 hour. If she is, her essence will be corrupted, and she will become something else entirely." Gregor listened intently, but his grief clouded his judgment. He performed the ritual in his shop one night. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation as the candles flickered and the ancient incantations echoed through the shop. Before his eyes, the puppet, Elianna, began to stir. Her movements were jerky and mechanical, but Gregor felt a fleeting warmth as if his daughter had returned. Still, her eyes remained hollow, casting a shadow of unease. As days turned into weeks, Gregor's obsession with Elianna grew. He dressed her in Elise's clothes and spoke to her as if she were his daughter. He often imagined her laughing, playing, and bringing life back into the shop. Yet, despite his efforts, Elianna remained unervingly silent and lifeless. Gregor tried to engage her, reading to her, and even playing music, but her response was always the same, a hollow gaze. One fateful night, as Gregor worked late into the evening, he forgot the old crone's warning. The full moon's light streamed through the dusty windows, bathing Elianna in its cold glow. Unaware of the danger, Gregor continued to work, his focus solely on his workbench. The prolonged exposure began to corrupt the magic binding Elianna. Her wooden body started to warp and shift, the once cold eyes now glowing with a malevolent light. The shop, filled with shadows and eerie silence, became a stage for her transformation. Elianna's movements became more fluid, more purposeful, and more frightening. She no longer just moved. She seemed to glide with a dark grace. As Elianna's transformation completed, her behavior turned violent. Gregor, realizing too late the gravity of his mistake, tried to contain her by forcing her back into the box. But Elianna, now a creature of dark energy, overpowered him. Her movements were swift and unpredictable, and her strength was far beyond what a puppet should possess. In a tragic climax, Elianna's malevolence culminated in Gregor's death. As he lay dying, He saw not his beloved daughter, but a twisted mockery of her former self. The last thing he felt was the cold, uncaring gaze of Elianna. The story concludes with the village gossiping about strange occurrences at Gregor's shop. The once bustling shop is now abandoned, its windows covered in dust and grime. Villagers occasionally hear unsettling whispers and see fleeting shadows moving through the windows. The shop becomes a place of eerie legend, where the cursed doll, Elianna, remains trapped in her dark, silent corner, her presence forever haunting the abandoned space.